One of the early things that happened during your campaign, shortly after your announcement, you've had specific members of government kind of attack you and I guess try to create a narrative that you were bad for business, and the business being Cayman. And they said certain things about you wanted to sell certain government assets, and that prompted a response. Do you want to? Can you walk us through that a little bit, and I guess your thoughts around that? I guess because you can only say so much in a 60-second clip, right? Where now you have more of a open forum to explain that position.
So the background on that was in 2014, the then progressive government were faced with an impossible decision. Basically, the country was at a stage that they had no ability to spend on projects, to invest, and indeed, in some cases, there was a real question around whether they could even make payroll. And so they commissioned a report to said, we want, and they set the parameters and told us what they wanted us to look at and have a conversation that everything is on the table.
When you say us, you're talking about EY.
EY.
Yes.
Yes, EY at the time. So what we did was we went out and brought experts in from our global government practice to go through, because they really asked, we want you to look at everything. And if you do get a chance to look at this report, you'll see in the preamble at the beginning, the cover letter on it takes you through that. And so coming out of that was we did what they asked us to do, which is what you expect as a professional, even whether you have personal views or otherwise. Those get set aside and the experts go in, look at it, and delivered the report accordingly. So what has happened is to use that, and as I said, one of the challenges that they do is people will seek to mischaracterize things for their own political expediency. And this is the perfect example of them doing that. And so they started off by saying, Dan Scott intends to sell all these things, and they lumped in a number of things, including I've heard different iterations of it, Cayman Airways, and the answer to that is no. And indeed, in the report, there was never, if memory serves me, any suggestion to sell Cayman Airways. Cayman Airways is a pretty special tool that, if used properly, we can do very well. What it has to be, however, is that you can't abuse it. So, for example, if you decide you want to do trips to Barbados, you can't lump that on Cayman Airways, right? What you need to do is fund it from a separate ministry and make sure, don't blame Cayman Airways because of that, because it is something valuable and we need to preserve it, but utilize it for the benefit of Cayman and Caymanians. And so that's the background on the report. That's where it's at, and they will attempt to lay it out. And as I understand, I think perhaps last evening, maybe Mr. Bryan decided again to take another shot at it. And because in my response, I've said we have no intentions of selling, because I think one of the things I said, the Water Authority, Radio Cayman, and Radio Cayman's actually one that is very near and dear to my wife's heart.
Yes.
If I was to sell that, I couldn't go home. Right? As is the Water Authority, by the way. Right. And I have folks who I admire greatly, people like the Miss Celia, who leads the Water Authority, who's doing a great job. And so none of those things are on the table. But again, they seek to misinform by making statements such as they have no intentions. Understand what intentions mean. Well, here's the difference. Look at our history. We don't have to wordsmith to tell the truth. If I tell you I have no intentions, that means we're not doing it. It's not on the table. Unfortunately, folks like Mr. Bryan take liberty with the language to pretend and to be able to change what he does and say, no, I said this and not that. Perfect example is he will go off and make decisions that today it's one thing and tomorrow it's something different. Such as he was against the port, now he's for the port. What is he tomorrow? I don't know.